Uh, alright, sorry. baru lupa nak record. Okay. So before that saya berada di Pos Malaysia Berhad as the head of Post Development Center postcode, which in Bangi heading the human capital development as well. Jadi with some little exposure, and before that I'm in Corporate Training Institute, Diarbecom Academy Podison. So we have at the training center in Podison. So I'm there. So with some background of 15 years of LND and training, apa yang saya buat hari ini is to share with everybody. I know most of the participants yang attend this session also some experts in LND. However, if there are some exchange of ideas, perspectives, and how we can see LND is very critical and very important. Sebelum ni, before this when I'm doing some sessions on LND, tak ramai yang datang. Tengok macam hari ni pun kan, it's only 23 kan, 23. So there are many LND practitioners outside there. Many LND practitioners outside there yang memerhatikan that are looking into LND is just administrative. LND is just coordinating, just doing the HR work in registering people for attending training session, which is not. Which is yang sebenarnya the real task of LND is to support the business. That is why hari ini topik kita adalah boosting business results. It is not only merely a training function, training role. Jadi before we continue, and this is some of my background that you have seen, maybe this background can also share with you whatever that I have learned in several years. Maybe by looking into the chat, I think you have chat, right? Ada chat button, chat ruang chat tu. Can you please just put some emoji inside that chat? How are you today? Put some emoji, so some emoji that can contribute on how are your feelings today, whether you are good, whether you are currently okay. Boleh tak tengok sikit chat, letak sikit emoji. Ada banyak lagi emoji kat dalam di dalam Zoom ni, so which we can also have some interaction. This is also one of the way that I just want to check whether you can chat with me or not. Thank you very much. Okay, good, great. Thank you. Okay, can you please just type which company are you from, or are you from training provider? Just type your company's name of training provider so that we can have some population. How many people inside this room from which company, please? Boleh? I've seen some from Custom Academy, Sima, right? Thank you, Shana, Farah Rais. Okay, good. Diarbecom University, corporate trainer, training providers, PHN industry. So there are many companies that is attending this session. Okay, good. Thank you. As I've mentioned to you, this session is about sharing session. And looking into how we can improve our skill in LND, learning and development, and how we can be better. It is not about this is the absolute way of doing things in LND. However, this might be one of the trigger that you can improve your LND practices. So ladies and gentlemen, today what we are going to go through is that this is the agenda for today, which we are going to see on how we are doing things. Okay, a bit of introduction about myself. The importance of training in business. We are looking into relating training and also business. How can we connect these 2 points? How can we make training and also business is relevant? Number 2 is that why training is key for business results. So I'm going to share with you the direct link between training and also business outcomes. There must be a connection between training and also business outcome. And then what would be the current trends in effective training? We are going into a little bit of AR, virtual reality, what is it all about? Data analytics and reporting tools, microlearning, mobile and learning apps. So these are the current trends, the inting of LND, at which most organizations are facing some challenges. Ada cabarannya untuk ni because of cost factor, budget factor, semua itulah. And I'm also going to share some powerful tools. Powerful tools ni is when you're looking into gamification platforms, social learning platforms, feedback and survey tools, performance support system, and there are also some non apa non monetary, non budgetary platform that you can use also as L&D. And finally, is about conclusion and also some Q&A if we have. Some sharing as most of us are L&D champions inside this particular room. In this particular session, I believe that saya percaya yang mana kita semua mempunyai that talent to share whatever that we want to share. So, looking into the importance of training, I think you also might agree with me because the era of business are changing, which we are not looking into L&D, just administrative and coordinator of things. So what we need to think is about how we can adapt, how can we innovate, and how can we execute our training plan flawlessly. So that's a way, because looking into the business, melihat kepada business yang kita ada, it is not only just delivering the business, we are also part of the strategic business direction. I think you also agree that most of us in L&D has the capability, has the right also to support the fund that we are obliged to pay, the levy that we need to pay to HRDC. So all of companies dah sekarang ni is using HRDC. They are putting HRDC as their own HRDC levy as the main contributor to the training budget, and then they are going to have non-HRDC budget. So that is why looking into this fund, which sometimes thousands, sometimes 100,000, sometimes millions, actually you are a great fund manager. L&D is a great fund manager because you manage that particular fund and you allocate accordingly. So that is why, because every organization are going to contribute a sum of money to HRDC. So that's the angle that we need to think of, because that's the money outflow. And how can we make it better? So the first thing that I want to have some perspective and also want to share with you, the first thing before we are saying about business, we need to also understand what is your business results. What is your targeted business results? Sometimes L&D is just doing and getting instruction from head of human capital, CHRO, chief people officer, and L&D is you need to do A, B, C, D training. However, do you know that the organization, your company that you are working at, that you are working in has a business results, and do you aware about that business results? So for example, what we have in our group, in the Abihacom group, just sharing with you, our business key results, we call it as key results, is we acronym it as 10, 10, 90. So 10, 10, 90. What is 10? So our aim is to achieve 10% of return on equity. We are also aiming about to get 10 billion of market capitalization and also 90% of employee engagement score. So that's simple enough for people to understand, for people to remember, because this is our business results. So what are your business results? So you need to also understand that by having by having the aim of business results is going to give you a momentum that you are going to do something in L&D and to push yourself to achieve that business results. Untuk dapat business results ni is the inting of L&D. the key point, the main purpose of our existence is to achieve business results. Kecuali lah kalau your organization is CSR, something that is doing charity, the non-profit, so that's going to be in the angle of contribution. However, most of our companies yang ada dekat dalam Malaysia ni, all of us I think, is about getting the business results. So there must be a correlation between LND and also the numbers that we are going to achieve. Yeah, sometimes it is not only numbers, it's also qualitative, right? Qualitative means that getting the quality people, quality talent, acquisition, and also managing the talent. So this is the first thing that you need to also think of. Sometimes people think that kita ni, LND ni is not very critical and very important. Anybody can be LND, betul ke? Sometimes bukan nak kata it is not about learning and development. That's why when we say learning and development is just only administrative, only coordination, only registering of training, attendance, absenteeism of training, that is not the in thing. That's not the current requirement for LND nowadays. Because we are looking into how LND contribute towards the business, how LND roles can support the business. Let us look at this statistic by IBM on their mobility initiative program. There's a number of significant percentage of people that believe that relevant training is essential for their job satisfaction. Actually, people comes to work and people work in an organization. It is not merely just getting the salary, but also to look into how can they develop themselves. Bukan hanya sekadar dapat gaji. How can they develop themselves? What are the career path in the organization, and what are the hope that they are going to get? So daripada situlah they are also agree that 87% believe that relevant training is essential for their job satisfaction. And looking into another feedback, there are 86%, almost 87, 86, which is quite good. Employees are more likely to stay with a company that offer opportunities for development and training. Sometimes it is not because of the amount of remuneration might not be at par. Tak adalah sehebat mana-mana organisasi, especially small companies, SME companies. Dia tak boleh nak they cannot afford to offer higher in terms of salary. However, in terms of development, they send people for training. They send people for LND interventions. Saying about LND interventions it is not only it's not only training, it is encompasses of several things that we can see into LND. Ada banyak lagi selain daripada training. So what happened, ladies and gentlemen, if we can see this scenario of people when a customer is facing the staff and the staff has high issues in responding to the customer, it means that it is not because of that personality of the people, the staff. However, do we as LND provide sufficient training or required training for this particular person? It's quite challenging, ladies and gentlemen, because LND, it is not only looking into registering people for training courses, it is included to get people also to be competent and to be well versed, and it will increase the satisfaction of the customer. Jadi bukan hanya sekadar buat untuk just for the sake of fulfilling the budget of training, bukan. We are contributing towards the business. We are contributing towards the skill of the business. So looking at that, apa yang kita akan tengok sekarang ialah why training is key for business results. This is the connection of business and also training. Have you heard about knowledge is power? Ada kan? Knowledge is power. Actually, knowledge is power. Kita tengok lately, recent development of our people looking into education, looking into training is not so. People yang our children yang dah graduate from SPM, dia terus nak pergi kerja, terus nak dapatkan fast money, doing Grab, doing Food Panda, etc. It is not that it is that's the only way that they can get money. Actually, by having a consistent knowledge is also the power tool for you to be developed in your life. So bukan hanya sekadar get fast money, sebab looking into fast money, getting a part-time business, buat part-time business is okay, but making it as a full-time business, full-time income might be a challenging for them, kan? Safety wise, lagi satu because of the stability of the organization, company, and people are using AI. Dekat US dah banyak dah orang guna AI untuk area Food Panda, logistic, everything. Dan semua ni is about replacing the AI with people. So knowledge that we have is very important, and a well-trained team leads better business outcomes. When we have a well-trained people in our organization, is going to have a better outcome. Yang mana reduce errors, we are going to enhance innovation, and that is why we are looking into how can we make it our people as good as possible. So there's three things that we can link our training and also business outcome. Number one is about improve employee performance and productivity. When people being trained, people are going to be competent according to what they are required, and then they are going to improve their productivity by having efficient processes, efficient interventions. Semua ni akan menjadikan our employees is look forward for their business. And number two is about to enhance employee engagement and also retention, looking into development, career pathing of these people, career development of the people. They are going to be enhanced in terms of engagement and also in terms of retention. They are going to see that the organization is taking care of their development. They are looking into the people development that is, they are going to be better day by day. And number three is when we conduct training, there must be a reason, right? Mesti ada sebab kenapa kita conduct training. So it is to adapt to the changes of business environments, new business, new system, new processes, and also whatever new elements that have in the business. Training is one of the interventions. When I say one of the interventions, there are many interventions of LND and training. LND. So there are training, there can be coaching, there can be mentoring, on the job, etc. There are many things LND can do. So these are the direct linkage between training and also business outcomes. So before we go forward, have you attended any training LND? Kan sometimes we ourselves are too busy sending people for training, nominating people for training. However, we haven't attended any. So let's say if you have attended any training recently, yang terbaru, on a scale of 1 to 5, where do you think its ROI landed? Share your thoughts. Can you put into your chat box? Based on the recent training that you have attended, what would be the ROI? 1 is very less, 5 is the highest ROI, return on investment, that you can think of. 3, ya moderate kan. Kadang-kadang it is not 100%. Anybody else, please share? 1 to 5, based on the recent training. It means that kalau seorang je, maknanya seorang je lah attend training. Sial lah ramai kan. The reason, I think one of the reasons that when you attend a training session and it is not giving you full ROI, one of the reasons is that either the program is not suitable to you, or you don't have the competencies gap, because the purpose of attending a training is to fill in the gap, is to fill in the competency gap. So it backs, dia berbalik kembali kepada, do you have a competencies dictionary, competencies database? So if you don't have that competencies, let's say you are in what level? Let's say you are in as a senior executive LND, or you are manager in LND. Even you are executive in LND. So there are certain competency level that is required for you to perform your job. Because competency is the elements that you need to perform your job. So do you have that competencies? That's the first thing that you need to think of. And second, once you have the competencies, you need to also have a competency gap analysis. Whether you have done that, do you realize that you have that competencies gap? And then you need to look into training. So it is not only just for the sake of attending training. When people are sending their staff to training, they think that sending their staff to training can resolve everything. However, the truth is that, yang benarnya, the reality is that, yes, just sending for the training, sometimes looking into the title, not looking into objectives, or not looking into the learning outcomes. And that when that happen, the mapping between the competencies gap and also the training objective is not there. Sebab tu, it is not directly related to the business outcome. So these are the main three reasons of to link between the training and also business outcome. Look at this statistic again. According to HR Magazine, companies that invest $1,500 on training per employee can see an average of 24% more profit than companies that invest less. Now, the main important part is that, yes, training is very critical, training is very important, but the right training is the most real important element in L&D. Not sending just for the sake of the head of department says that Ali needs to go for this training ABC. No, because LND, you need to make a wise decision because you are the fund manager. You have the authority to manage the fund, looking into that particular fund and getting the fund to be executed, to be implemented, and to be withdrawn from HRDC or your own training budget. You have that element. So be strong in terms of making decisions, be strong in saying yes or no, because you need to link the business and also to the competencies gap. If that person has high competencies gap, so should that people, not should down, but should the training programs put more priority of training program to them. Letakkan lebih kepada dia. So looking at that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you one thing. Do you have a learning ecosystem in your company? Why learning ecosystem is very important? Because we need to understand the total, the whole spectrum of training. The whole spectrum of training, the whole elements of training. Because registering people is only one part. Before that, there are several elements to do. And after the training, there are several things to do. And it is not only just doing that training. The other interventions that are going to comes in, the coaching, the mentoring, on the job peer learning, the LMS, LXP, etc. So many things are going to be inside L&D. So do you have a L&D ecosystem in your organization? If you have, that's good, because you are going to follow that L&D ecosystem. By having the L&D ecosystem in your organization, is going to help you to structure your system and processes. And you also are going to be able to identify which part that you need to improve further. So based on my perspective, this is my perspective. I'm sharing my perspective. You might have different perspective and you might have different belief, kan? Jadi I'm sharing you my perspective in LND ecosystem. I'm using an ecosystem that I can think of that can structure LND in my area, so that this structure can help me in terms of getting a better and efficient LND practices. So this is coming from Valamis LND ecosystem that I can think of. There are 5 elements inside here, ladies and gentlemen, sharing with you. You might want to use this. You might have your different ecosystem. It depends to you. Number 1 in LND, for us to boost our business results, these are the 5 elements that are going to be interconnected, and it's going to be in an infinity loop. I think maybe if you want to have this slide, I'm going to share with you the slide. Because after this session, there will be an email coming that seeking your feedback. Once you respond to the feedback, and then I'm going to send you these notes. Don't worry. You don't need to screenshot everything, because I'm going to give to you. Knowledge is power. Even knowledge is power, I'm giving the power to you as well. Gunakanlah sebaik yang mungkin kan. This is sharing session. It is not a paid session pun. So you can take it. So this LND ecosystem that I'm sharing with you. Number 1 is about people. When we say learning and development, our focus in our organization is to train our people. That's number 1. Without people, we cannot exist. Our role is not relevant at all. You cannot train robot, because that will be as engineer is programming the robot, programming the AI. That's a different angle. When we have people and people has emotions, that is the time where we need to put all of our effort as LND to develop our people. So LND is not only just holding the role, not applying the role as LND. Bukan hanya sekadar bekerja sebagai seorang LND. They need to love people, suka dengan orang, suka dengan manusia. You might can think of whether you love doing papers or people, right? You need to have that element of people more than papers. Jadi even though you have papers in front of you doing management papers or proposal, etc., people is the key. So number 1 is about people, value, knowledge, influence, and so leadership. These are the spectrum of people that are having competencies gap. Berkenaan dengan values. What would be the values in your organization? Do you have any values that you're using? Vision, mission, values, VMV. The knowledge that requires in your organization to be developed by people. If you have higher labor intensive, banyak orang, menggunakan orang rather than machines. So this is the time where you need to be serious in LND. Looking into how can LND to develop the knowledge and structure the knowledge to deliver the business. And also about influence and also leadership of the organization. I think we also agree that most of our organization has several hierarchy of people, of leaders. So that leaders needs to be trained. Do not leave the leaders untrained. Even though they come from a certain level, daripada bawah naik ke atas, even though they are coming from them, from that level, you also need to have some senior management development program, board of directors development program. So you need to have that program, because it's about people. And number 2, when we say about 2, is about this content. About content, when this is most of the time that we are going into. Some of the LND practitioners, are going into LND per se, designing the program, but they cannot deliver. Some LND practitioners go to the extent of becoming the trainers. So there are 2 spectrum over here. Either you are the LND practitioners per se, you are LND and also a trainer. So this is number 2 is the content, because looking into people, we need to map the competencies gap based on the competencies gap, we need to develop the content and design the content. Whether it is formal, informal content, formal classroom. I think you know, right? 70-20-10, 70-20-10 rule, not rule, the concept. 70% of on the job, 20% coaching and mentoring, and 10% classroom training. So maybe you want to use that approach or concept, informal and also informal. External resources coming from external into the content of your company. Sometimes you develop the content from within because that's the internal process. Sometimes it is about a generic program, so you're going to take from external. And also adaptation of content. That's number 2. Number 3 is about technology. As I've mentioned to you, the old days of doing manual, that's a reality, itu reality kehidupan LND sekarang. The old days where we put our data in papers, writing, semua tu lah, now being replaced by technology. There are many things that we can do automation. We can use technology. Even when we want to learn, there's a blended learning system which you can have online like this, and you have a blended of online and also face-to-face. So that's the technology that we need. Accessibility is very critical because looking into, if we have the system, we have the technology, but people are not using it, it's going to be a white elephant that you cannot leverage. And there's also collaboration between the system, the LMS, LXP. I think this is part of the technology that we can think of. Intertwined between these elements, the center portion is a learning culture which gels everything, which we look into the culture of the organization, the tone. How do people in your organization, macam mana people dalam company or organization kita meet each other and behave, and looking into creating the belief system, creating the actions, and also eventually producing the desired results, the business results that we want. So the learning culture is very critical because without the support from the whole organization, the whole people, your LND activities and initiative will not be realized. Engagement between you and also your head of division, engagement between you and also your top management is very pertinent. To make yourself relevant, you need to link it with the business. To make LND relevant, it should support the business because the business is the bread of the organization. We need to push ourselves to improve ourselves as LND and also to link that into business. So that's why the learning culture is all about continuous learning and also interaction between the people inside there in knowledge. And number 5, the last portion is about strategy. I always say that if you look into people and strategy, it's about I always say that strategy is the what, people is the how. So which is when you have strategy, you need people to do it. If you have people, you need the strategy to be guided. So that is why strategy is also part of LND. Not strategy of the business, but LND needs to have your own strategy. You need to have your own strategy. You need to look into how can you make this strategy to be part and supporting the business. For example, kalau kita tengok that particular business requires high sales revenue this particular year. Let's say you are targeting 10 million of revenue lah, a broad number, 10 million of revenue. So what should LND do to support that 10 million of revenue? So what are the skills? Where do you start? So this ecosystem can help you. So you need to look into the people part, which is whether your people are ready, what are the values that they want to carry to achieve that 10 million, the knowledge, whether they have competencies gap or not. So you need to have that mechanism to do some competency gap analysis. You need to have that element to analyze what would be the competency gap within the organization. So that's LND role. It is not other people's role. However, I know that LND is not expert in everything. You need to partner with the subject matter expert in your organization. Let's say the people in sales. So you need to partner with head of sales. You need to partner with the director of sales. So when you partner with director of sales, you need to identify A, B, C, D, people, A, Ahmad, Ali, etc. So what would be their competencies gap? So you need to fill that competencies gap because you need to start from now. You want to reach that 10 million by end of the year. Not now, actually it's supposed to be January, starting actually before January of the year because you need to plan for the training. Once you have this people portion, and then how do you want to deliver it? Yeah, go to the content. So this content of structure, you need to also look at. If you LND head of LND in your organization, I believe that you have this ecosystem already. If you are not LND head, maybe this is the time for you to discover that you also are going to look into the content, because content is most of our time is looking to the content. Either we develop ourselves the content or we engage external training providers, external consultants to develop the contents and deliver. And it is not only about the content, it's also to map with the content and also the strategy, the content to the learning culture, content to the technology, content to the people. So this might help you to understand the whole ecosystem of LND and the purpose of looking into how can we make LND better in our life. Okay, I hope some sharing with you can help some of our LND team to be better day by day and to explore on LND better. So we have another 50 minutes. Current trends in effective training. There are many ways of conducting trainings, many ways, because looking into training, the world of training is not what it was a decade ago. Bukan, it is not only there is a cutting edge technology, cutting edge mechanism that we are looking at. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, one day, I'm not sure, I think today is already happening, but maybe one day there will be like this, the scenario of augmented reality, AR and virtual reality. Everybody is wearing this AR glass to be trained. Imagine if you wear this and the trainer is inside there, inside somewhere, it is not in front of you. So they are going to, it is going to be it's going to give an opportunity for you to learn from everywhere, as long as you have that augmented reality glass, the virtual reality glass. So this is part of the moving forward elements of AR. So imagine we train a technician using VR where they prepare a machine in the risk-free virtual world. They can learn to repair a machine. They can learn to repair a car without attending the session at local physical place, by touching it, and they can feel it. So this is one of the current trends that we are looking at. Number two, LND also needs to also seriously look into the elements of data analytics and also reporting tools. As mentioned earlier, this data analytics and reporting is related to the business, because it is not just about training, but we need to understand the effectiveness of the training. There are, if you are following Kirkpatrick model of training evaluation, there are 4 levels, right? Number 1 is about reaction, level 1, training reaction. Number 2 is about learning, level 2, which sometimes we use pre and post test, etc. Number 3 is also about transferring learning into behavior. We are transferring whatever that we have learned into behavior, another level. And number 4 is about ROI, return on investment. So there are several levels of training evaluation that we did after the training. even sometimes some of the facilitators, some of the trainers also are doing evaluation before and after. So it is not only just doing or conducting the training, it is about understanding how effective is your training after people attended. A simple measurement is that if you send people to a training to increase their sales revenue, and if their sales revenue is not increasing, there must be some elements of that particular training is not supporting the competencies gap that that particular person has. If it happens like that, you need to revisit the training program. You need to revisit the competencies gap, whether the competencies gap is being done accurately. Sometimes people are using LXP or LMS. These are some of the examples. They are using a system. I know that when we have a system, there should be some investment to be incorporated with that particular system. So this is some of it. We can also see that uh, some of the data that we are looking at, the completion ratio of the program, self-paced modules, live modules, MOOC modules, and classroom modules. So these are some of the reportings that are going to be beneficial for us as LND and to make decision. And when we look into some of the scoring, when we look into the scoring that we have after the program, we will be able to identify which training needs to be replaced, improved, or maintained. We also can see the learner's name, the scoring, according to some journey that we are looking at. So this is coming from a Goodly dashboard, just to show you some samples. Whether you have it in your organization or not, you might want to think of this training dashboard also. I'm not selling this training dashboard. However, you need to have a training dashboard because we are looking into data analytics and also reporting tools. You are going to report to your management about what you have done before. So this is one of the sample of the training dashboard, which they are using Power BI to develop this training. So you have the key training metrics, the number of the percentage data which you need to key in, the train programs, the program names, some elements of it, and also the map of the participants. This is about key planning metrics. Even planning also has a system to manage it. There's a calendar over here. Traditionally, we use calendar. We just send a training calendar to our staff and they register. That's manual. So this is about system. They are using some system. The employee name, invited, and also absent. Absenteeism is very, very crucial for us. If we can't manage the participants to come and they just absent freely, it's going to be waste of money. It's going to be waste of money. So you need to look into the solution. What are the solutions that we need to introduce so that people has less absent? Like this, you have to only 3 absent. 3 most trained departments. So you can also identify department mana yang paling banyak, department mana yang paling sikit kan. Other than that, some key feedback metrics that level 1, level 2 might be if you want to have level 3. If you are mature enough, you might have level 4. So these are the metrics that we can see. So looking at this average training score might be 3.3 over 5. So we can identify that this program overall is very acceptable of that. So we can look into if there is any scoring that is lower. So we need to do our intervention. We need to look into the content. We need to look into the people, whether the contents that we are proposing to our staff is relevant to them or not. This is about cost. As I've mentioned to you, the cost that we have in training, ada yang menggunakan HRDC, ada yang menggunakan training budget sendiri kan, non HRDC. Whatever it is about still managing the cost, managing the investment of training, still managing the investment of training. And this is about cost leak metrics. Interesting, because once bila saya tengok kat sini, is about what happen if people absent and not attending the program. There are some wastage of cost. So this is cost leak absenteeism. And I'm not sure whether you have done this before. You need also to identify and report to the management that these are the some of the people that is not attending, and it incurs cost, it incurs wastage of the fund that we can allocate for other people. Okay, so number 3, we can see number 1 AR VR, number 2 is about data reporting and data analytics and reporting. Number 3, the trend is about now about micro learning. Micro learning is very very popular right now because of what? Because of time. Because now people are looking into the shortest training program and to give the highest value of competencies filling of initiative. Sometimes it can be done, especially quite a generic program, it can be done. However, not every training programs can be minimized or can be micro. So uh, it does not necessarily you compress it. You can break a 2-day program into four sessions. You can do that. So by having that, you can look into some ways of doing micro. Number 1, look into the modules within the whole training programs. Number 2, micro learning is not only attending training. You can also use interactive videos. You can need to have a platform to use it, either LMS or LXP. You need to put some interactive videos and people comes into that particular platform and look into the video. So it is considered as micro learning as well. And also you can share infographic and also visual summaries for them to understand the process and flow. So please LND, please make it interactive enough. Please make it versatile, and also it is not merely just attending training in the class or in front of your laptop. It is also a total solution of microlearning, interactive videos, and also infographic. So looking at that, sometimes we are also looking into people doing learning journey. So if you don't have this learning journey yet in your organization, you might want to consider to have a learning journey for each of your levels. You may have one learning journey for your junior executive, one learning journey for your executive, one learning journey for your senior execs, managers, etc., until any levels that you have. Or you may have a learning journey according to the functions, because we are also not looking into everybody has to be a leader. They might be a specialist in their own area. So you need to have a learning journey for that. You may have also an onboarding journey for your new recruit, new people. So you can put this into your system if you have the system that is going on in your organization. So there are some of the trends that based on my exposure and experience looking at, not so complicated. However, if you are not in these elements, you might want to consider to improve further. So ladies and gentlemen, we are having in the last portion right now is about what will be some of the tools and techniques for LND to consider. There are two perspectives here. Number 1, the tools that you need to invest, and number 2, some of the tools that you don't need don't need high investment on that. So number 1, the tool that we are looking at is about these 3 elements of learning application. You can evaluate your own organization, you can evaluate your own practices. Number 1 is about gamification platforms. Make learning fun, make learning people happy to learn. Because if learning is just only classroom, no interactive at all like this, so because today is only a session, a talk session, so in a class you need to have the facilitator to do many activities. Even we did some activities today, so we need to have some gamification. And gamification is not at one time, not one time gamifications. It's about introducing badges, leaderboards. You are also looking, giving rewards, giving people that has high intention in learning. So you're going to reward that particular person. Number 1 is about gamification platforms. Number 2, I'm taking the angle of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's about social learning platforms. About social. It is not that you need to use Facebook to learn, even though you know that, because some of the learning we learn from TikTok. Kan buka TikTok, tengok TikTok, kita buat. So that is informal learning, which we need to verify and validate the reliability of that particular content. However, by having these social learning platforms, for example, if you have a group of leaders in a development program, let's say we call it as executive development program. You have a group of people in executive development program. So by having social learning platforms, it's going to help them, this group of people, to interact each other and to improve each other. It is outside of the classroom, outside of the mentoring, coaching, but they can learn among each other. They can put some videos, they can learn each other, they can share. So this is one of the learning activities that can boost the application. And the third part is that the feedback and also survey tools. I'm not sure whether you did any feedback, whether you ask your people in the organization, do they happy with the training? Do they agree with the what are the list of training programs that you propose to them? Does they have do they think that they have attended a training and it has high ROI, return on investment? So that feedback and survey tools is very also critical and important for you to consider, because number one, this is to reflect back the gamification platform. This is one example that I'm showing in. This is from a system named as Disperse. They have the modules, completion of modules. When you open your page, you can see the leaderboard, who's number one, who's number, and there's a gamification over here. And if you introduce some activities, so they are going to do the activities, they are going to get some points and also badges. Over here, we can see from the mobile version, you have the leaderboard and the numbers. And if you have people that is full concentration and getting the points, there is one of the ways that you want to reward them. Ada reward lah kan bagi kat dia. Whether you want to push monetary or non-monetary reward, it depends to you. So this is one of the tool that you can use in Elements. This is one example of the leaderboard that is using social learning platforms, which they are going to interact each other using mobile and also using desktop apps. So looking at that, these are five tools also that which is does not require high investment. Number one, mentoring and coaching. I think as LND, I would like to propose to all LND to consider this. Doing a program of coaching and mentoring will be helpful to your organization so that they can coach each other. The managers will coach their downliners, their subordinates, and the leaders will be the mentor for the people. So they need to have this guidance and support from each other. This is also to create the learning culture. Number two is about job shadowing. Job shadowing is about pairing the people. Sometimes we call buddy program. So job shadowing also is part of it, to transfer the learning into the real world context. Role play, you can also use this not only during training sessions, but also in real life. You can simulate the real scenario, real case study that you have in any organization, in your sections, divisions, and use that role playing. As LND, you might want to propose that each division, each department to have this role play on some scenarios, and they can build their skills through informal learning like that. Gamification, number four is about gamification. As I've mentioned to you, you maybe want to consider that LXP, LMS that you have. If not, you may use other free version like Kahoot and etc. As long as there are some of game mechanics inside the organization and to enlighten them. And finally, might be peer learning. You may want to have your friends in the same organization, in the same department, to have a peer learning sessions with the people inside there. So these are some of the tools that you want to consider as LND And these tools actually can contribute direct to the business results. By having these tools, without doing anything, you cannot create better impact in the business results. So by having this in several pockets in the organization is going to help your organization to build better business results. All right. So that's the overall of the tools, some sharing about how we can relate to the business. We are looking into how can we make this organization to be better. So it helps you to also to be better in performing your L&D role, performing your session, your interventions in getting the competencies gap filled in, and also to make the people in your organization to feel appreciated and to be developed by your role as L&D. That is why this session is part of the sessions to build the L&D credibility, to build the L&D competency, and to grow together in ensuring that our L&D will be better day by day and not static enough. Because if we are keep repeating the same things all over again, we cannot expect different results. So make L&D part of the business results, make L&D relevant, make sure that whatever that we do, not only to manage the HRDC fund, but also to see our people to be developed. So that's the overall elements, and we are going to into some conclusion. It is crucial for company to have LMS in order to have an effective L&D. That's the way. That's the question coming from Farah Rais. That's the cutting edge, the moving forward direction of L&D right now. Without LMS, without learning experience platform, we are going to do more manual things which are not going to be reflecting of the current technology that we have. So you may want to consider some technology elements. Do not start in a big scale. Starts from small. Starts from small to build this LMS, to build this LXP, so that people can trust you, and also to make sure that the elements that has in L&D is impactful to them. So that's my view, and I hope that that can support you. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Before we end, let me share with you, because to support the L&D, I have designed a program. I have a design program to start with. The program, we call it as STAR program, which is Strategic Training Analysis for Remarkable Results. So this is what we are looking at into the first portion of L&D, to establish TNA, how we can connect TNA and also business. So I'm doing this in 27 and 28 of November. If you would like to participate and learn more about STAR program and how to do training needs analysis, this session might help you. This is a real case program which we are going to do this TNA program. You are going to bring your business case, you're going to bring your target business results for year 2024 in this particular session, and develop from start until you complete that particular session. So this is part of our support to you. If you want it, you can. We are going to share with you this brochure. We are going to do it in 27 and 29 of November 2023. The venue is to be confirmed, is within Klang Valley. And we are looking forward to have you in this session. If you want to learn more about TNA and how you can match TNA and also business, as mentioned by today. So we have more series, ladies and gentlemen. I know it is already 12 p.m. We have more series. This is only the first one. You can have, if you have registered inside our landing page, you are going to be reminded for the next session. I hope that we can meet in another series this Friday about training needs analysis. I'm going to give a snapshot of training needs analysis, not too detailed because we have only 1 hour to share. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure having you in this session, and see you in the next STAR series talk. to this Friday. Thank you. That's all from me. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you. My pleasure. Okay, I'm going to end this session. See you again.